Hi, today I'm carving a tiny little pig from wood. Um, it's a short video. I did this one with on in close to an hour when I carved it on stream. So the I had little footage to use compared to the usual that is about 1 hour 40, I think. So a short one. Uh, that's in part due to the fact that I really wanted to do that at once. I didn't want to split that in multiple sittings. That would have been annoying. So I chose the simplest animal I could think of in terms of shape. A pig, which is not a tube, but it's kind of a lump with a somewhat complex head, but so simple a body that I felt it was worth it. So I chose the smallest piece of wood I had. I chose a simple animal. I wanted a nice palette cleanser from the long, arduous journey that was carving the elephant. I wanted to get back in the groove of things, so a small little project that I could do in one sitting was exactly what I needed to get back into the groove of things. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm carving the shape of the back. Uh, I'm leaving. I'm carving from the back of the animal of the pig all the way to the neck about. That way I leave myself some room for when I'm for the ears. The ears were the problem mainly, and then once I had done a good portion of the back, I started work immediately on the area underneath the belly. And for all of this project, I tried using about the same techniques I'd use with the elephant, but on a much smaller scale. And I used this exact same order of operation as I did in for the elephant. So start with the top, then the bottom, then the front, then the back, and then start adding shapes. That's the basic idea behind the order I started carving. I carved this pig. I wanted to know how well the methods I'd used to carve the elephant would translate to a much smaller piece of wood. And the answer is the process, the order in which things are carved does help a lot, and is the method is easily transferable. But the exact the movements of the knives and the types of cuts I need to make are not the same at all. A bigger block of wood, I was able to get a different type of grip, and the wood was a lot harder. So this, some of the things I got away with when I carved the elephant, I couldn't do here with the pig, which is a very this kind of experimentation is really fun to do for me. So here I'm carving the area underneath the tail. Here the plan for the tail, because I knew it was impossible to make a thin tail that spirals. I would just make some kind of a lump that I would carve a groove into it so that it kind of swirls. That is the plan for the tail. It worked fairly well, I think. It's far from perfect. The carving in general is far from perfect. And here you can see me deviate a bit from what I did with the elephant. Here I immediately started carving in between the legs. That's because I felt like I didn't get enough grip around the middle of the pig to follow the shape well. So removing some material there for that helped a lot. Just gave me somewhere else to grip with my knife. And then it's under the head. This portion went a lot easier than with the back portion. No, the portion underneath the tail, because it was much the serve there was a longer area to be carved away. It was not as thin. It was a lot easier to get a good grip and a good movement going. And then with that, I start shaping a bit the head. Here I'm basically just carrying the sketch I'd made for the face all the way through the block of wood, basically. That way I'd be able to adjust the head immediately compared to the body. And after that is done, then I would start working on the head itself. So here I'm preparing the lamp for the tail. That's one of the hardest part of the project, to be honest, because the back is always difficult because I tend to cut it too close, to cut my piece of wood too close to where I want to have whatever back detail I want there to have. So it becomes hard to get a good movement and a good grip going on the wood. But it's a hard thing to gauge because I don't want to do too little, and it's hard to carve, but I also don't want to cut the wood too far away from the lines, because then I'm wasting materials. I like using as much of the wood as I possibly can, but it's a hard balance to strike. To be honest, it's one of the harder bits for woodworking in my mind, because let's say I wanted to do only digital art, then I wouldn't have to worry about canvas sizes or things like that. I could do basically whatever I'd want. But because my material is physical and it's a tree had to have been cut at some point for that. So, but I really want to do it. So it's kind of a battle between my perception of my I want to minimize my impact of the environment, but I do want to carve, so it's another balance that has to be worked at. And while I was rambling about wood, I started carving the head, starting mostly with ears, then shaping the face, and making the head end in somewhat of a point at the snout. It's not exactly a point, because I left the end flat, because that's how a pig's nose is mostly. But I do think I sharpened the face a bit too much and left the ears. I don't know what I could have done better with the ears, honestly, but once the project is done, it reads a lot more dog to me than it does a pig. If I'm being aware that it is in fact a pig, I'm able to, and the fact that I carve it, I'm able to tell it's a pig. But being honest with myself, if I didn't have that knowledge in advance, my first guess probably would be dog. That's because in part I made the body too shapely, is how I'd say it. Not enough of a tube, and I gave the pig way too thin a neck. The neck, looking at back at my pictures that I was using for reference, there's not really a transition between the head and the body. It's kind of just there. So I feel like I should probably have planned the body better and maybe gone slightly slower. I was kind of rushing this one. It's not really out of necessity. I was kind of just in the flow. I was carving for the fun of carving without caring much about the end result. So it's kind of expected that the result would be somewhat subpar. compared to what I would have liked to make. So here I'm rounding the edges of the legs to make the legs round. And I'm doing this mostly from the bottom of from the foot to the leg. That way, if the knife catches on the wood, it's less likely to break the foot or the leg. At least that's my belief. I'm not really experimenting that much on things that I think may break the wood. I'm going with whatever feels more natural and less likely to damage it. I'm not really caring about. I'm not testing every possibility because that would be way too long, cost way too much in terms of wood, and I'd have to basically want to break my work, which wouldn't be fun. So, and if with all of that rambling, we're already at the end of this video. Here I'm zooming to show the swirl of the tail, which is quite cute, and is basically the only pig, the most pig-like feature still there. And with that, feel free to come by whenever you want. Thank you for watching. Bye.